The earnings call was this week. It went fantastic. I don't know who you follow if they are telling you something else, but it was great. The board, the VPs and directors who were all in attendance were very enthusiastic and upbeat. Elon himself was in a pretty darn good mood. Dare I say, even a tad giggly, but unserious Elon is also a fun Elon. So one of the things he shared was about bots. So of course I grabbed one of my friends who knows a lot about bots and has been following Optimus more closely than kind of anyone. Really, it's Herbert from Brighter. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. Herbert, great call, great call. Optimus, as you know, human-powered flight will not happen for 10 million years, and robots probably won't happen in our lifetime. Have you heard anything different?
Well, it's already happening today, as we all have been following and watching these videos. You can already see hundreds and hundreds of companies in China and Europe and the US creating humanoid bots and other kinds of bot forms. You're hearing many, many companies well-funded showing you the autonomous training is happening. But what matters is Tesla, because not only did they say, they were very, very specific for the first time, hearing how many bots they're trying to make this year, next year, what is the production line that they're making, what is their design locked, and what level of confidence they have with this. And then, of course, he continued to say the biggest numbers you can imagine. He said long-term Optimus is a $10 to $20 trillion in revenue. But again, let's go talk about the very specific numbers and dates that he's actually said.
Well, let's start with today, because tomorrow is a new day. Today, robots don't exist, right?
Well, today we're Optimus. He said at least there's two, right? That's in the factories. But what he did say was that we have an internal plan. The internal plan.
Well, let's start with those two. There are two robots doing work that otherwise would have been done by a person. They're not supervised. They're not in testing. They're performing work.
Yeah.
So the robots are already real. That's big news. Okay. And now after today, what happens?
Sure. Well, after today, what he said was that we have an internal plan for Tesla to have 10,000 robots this year. And then he goes,
10,000?
He goes, will we succeed? Probably not. But will we succeed in several thousand? Yes. Will they be doing useful things by the end of the year? Yes. And then he said that, Optimus there'll be production, design, one. Those will be what we'll be using in Tesla factories this year. Production, design, two will be next year. And then the growth is staggering, right? Aspirationally, he said an order of magnitude ramp per year. So we might only end up, he said, half an order ramp per year, but it's crazy. Like, this isn't just, he said, doubling each year. It's like 5xing each year. It's 500% growth each year. And then very soon, it won't take as many years before we get to 100 million per year. So then he said, right, that we have a plan this year where we have a production line that's going to make 1,000 bots per month this year. Then next year, we plan to have a production line that's going to 10,000 bots per month. And then the following year, 100,000 bots per month and so forth. So this year, roughly 1,000 bots per month. So if everything goes along well, we might make 10,000 total, but more likely probably 5 to 10,000. That's where he came up with that number.
So let's talk about that 5 to 10,000. Shoot for the stars. If you fall short, you still make it to the moon, right? And that, I can see that as being a very reasonable goal. 1,000 a month, a line that can make 1,000 a month. Well, you've got all the pieces to scale. You just haven't scaled yet. 1,000 a month is 30. It's like 1 an hour ish. 1 an hour is very doable, right? Because you're not hand building them. You have an assembly line that's just not scaled yet. And these are, like he said, so many fewer atoms. It's so much smaller and lighter than an automobile. Yeah. So it's not going to require vast amounts of space like a auto factory would. It doesn't have a paint shop. I don't think. I think it's just going to be primarily bare metal, or the paint shop would be absolutely minimal. So you can do it. You can do it. what do you see as the rate limiting factor over the over the first, let's say,
Yeah.
6 months?
Okay. So to be fair, he repeated 2 or 3 times in the entire earnings call. He did say that, look, building the humanoid bots is something no one's ever done before. And he said it's like as if I'm building a train, but at the same time I have to build the tracks and the station at the same time. Because they need to design every single part. They need to create new supply chains. Never been something that's out there before. So there's a lot of potential, things that they've never seen before to get there. So to be clear, right, that's the concern. But the confidence level that we'll build 1,000 units per month is pretty high at this point, because he goes, while the bot is not yet design locked, it is already at the point where we have the most sophisticated hands that's ever been built. That's already kind of established. So I think that the way that I heard everything from this earnings call, there isn't any rate limiting step at this point. There isn't any bottleneck. There isn't any unsolved problems. It's now just unknown problems that might occur because we haven't done it yet, right? We're going to kind of put into a line at this point. So that's
So it could be that what I see as the rate limiting factor is, can we meaningfully deploy them? We don't have customers just saying,
no.
give me one. Once we have that, you can ship them out the door all day. I think part of it is, if he had 10,000 today, you'd have to hire someone to figure out what jobs they need to do.
That's not what I heard at all.
Grok.
No.
Okay.
What I heard him say was, we as a Tesla alone can handle thousands of bots. There's so many jobs, he said, that these guys can do, especially if it's just a simple things. And he described it, right? Pick and place jobs like sheet metal, putting into one place, or the battery, there's thousands of repetitive, boring, dangerous jobs that Tesla has. And he said that next year with the production line 2, that's when we'll deliver to other companies outside of Tesla, second half of next year. He said demand is not going to be the problem, even at a high price. So this is the first time that we heard him basically confirm that the price of Optimus will be set by the market demand. He said that price of Optimus will be set by, because the reason I keep repeating this is that I don't know how many people kept saying, oh, how much money can Optimus really make if they can only sell it for $30,000 each or something like that? No, dude. For the first several years, people are willing to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for these bots, and demand will not be the problem. It's going to be production. There's no concern. Like Tesla will be able to use 10,000 bots if they needed to, if they made that this year. I don't have a problem with that number.
I mean, start with all the hazardous jobs. That alone is a vast market. That alone is probably millions of jobs that should be replaced. Okay, so now we're talking after the first year. Now, once you get to V2, so but the big thing is, and I can't get over this, Herbert, this is happening faster than I expected.
Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking that this year would be another R&D year.
Yeah.
Jeff, our friend Jeff, was able to get a question in. Is it design locked? What was the answer?
He said, well, it's not design locked. Let me just take a quick look here. He said, Optimus is not design locked. We're designing the train while designing the tracks and station, rapidly evolving in a good direction, though. We have the best team of humanoid bot experts in the world. You need charging, you need cellular. So he said that you need real world AI, you need ability to scale. There's no other company's going to be able to do what we're doing, and so forth. But the question of design locked means that that's not what Tesla does anyways, right? They always continue to improve things. But you can't be, so the plan, as he confirmed several times today at the earnings call, was that we're going to have version 1. So first of all, that means it's no longer prototype. This is production level 1, production design 1. They're production. It just happens that the production level is going to be 1,000 bots per month. We're going to use all of them. Now, does that mean design lock? No. The point was we're going to use thousands, 5,000 to 10,000 of them this year. Then next year, when we do production design 2, which is the second version of the bot next year, and the production line 2 next year, those then get upgraded because they've learned a bunch of things.
Right. So is it safe to say that when the Model 3 was released, that it was as design locked as something gets at Tesla? Because we saw 6 months later, a year later, it was a substantially
Yeah.
different car.
Yeah. I bought one of the earlier ones, or I bought one that was in the middle of the year in 2020. So I waited a little bit. So I was happy I didn't buy like right off the lot, right? But 3 months later, they released one where they had the power trunk and they had a bunch of things, and I'm like, dang.
So this is not crazy. This is what Tesla does. There's no, I mean, there is such a thing as design lock, but effectively there isn't. It's always, it is a moving target. And yeah, if you're going to try and build the station and the train and the tracks at the same time, why, that just sounds like a Wallace and Gromit skit to me. But yeah, this is moving very quickly. And is it even reasonable to speculate about the value of this? Or is it so transformative that we should just kind of hang back and say, just trust me, this is going to be a wild ride?
Uh, no.
Well, then
Point,
get to it.
Yeah. My point is this. Okay, let's stop and think about this just a little bit, please, folks. The bot is the most transformative product that's ever going to be made in the history of humankind, because it's got both the brains, which is AI, as well as the physical capabilities, right? This thing can do labor, which is the largest market in the world. Even if it can just do 1/100th of whatever everybody's projecting this can do, the numbers are so massive. So if you just think of it that way, this is why would you not be able to project this out and say this is going to be happening? Now you go, which is actually the more riskier project, autonomous cars or robots being able to do basic pick and place? Well, autonomous cars, they already have pilots, right? They have these Waymo and Cruise and 20 other Chinese companies giving you robotaxi rides. So that's actually not impossible, but it's still not widely used. But same with bots. Bots are today being done today. There's companies that have hired many different kinds of bots. Humanoid bots are working today, doing pick and place already today. So there's nothing stopping them from just making something that does pick and place to start with. And Elon confirmed there are thousands of jobs that just to do the simplest things that the bots can already do today. So I think that, you know what I mean? Like, it's no longer this thing where some people like to say it's, it's like you said at the beginning here, your intro, 5 years, 10 years, never. It's here. It's happening now. It's just your definition of the use cases. It can already do the simple use cases now that are very valuable, that can be sold today, that people will buy today. And then it's just a matter of like, well, no, what we want is a general purpose bot that can do unlimited use cases. That's what takes it to the trillions of dollars. But you can go ahead and price it out now. Exactly, because it's already a product today.
And I'm going to agree with something you brought up earlier, which is the cost. I've seen people saying 25, 30,000. Elon did mention that the cost to build can get down to 20,000, but in the early days, there's absolutely no reason to sell it for anything less than what the market will bear. And the market in the early days will bear a lot.
Hundreds of thousands. Yeah.
Well, sure, because every Fortune 500 company will want to buy at least 5 to 10, maybe even 100 of them, so they can determine their capacity and how many they actually need to own. And even if we're talking 5 per Fortune 500 company, at 100 grand, 200 grand a pop, they will buy them. I'm not saying you're never going to get your $35,000 home helper. I'm saying don't expect it in the first run or two.
Yep.
It might take a few minutes to get there, but it will get there. And yeah, anything I missed, anything I should be asking?
Oh.
You've had a long day. I will cut you loose. Guys, in the comments, what do we miss? What do we misunderstand? You know Herbert will come back and answer the questions. Head on over to Brighter with Herbert, see what he's up to. Check him out. He is a great guy. You know that. You already watch him. And everybody else, like, subscribe, stay tuned and juicy. You know what you're doing, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever humanoid robots during the uprising.